The task is to lift the game. You've got to lift the game. You can't go on the way you are. You've got to look and see, really see while you're with the speaker, where you're not being as true as you can. Now that doesn't mean anything about the spiritual life. There is no spiritual path to begin with. If you think there's a spiritual path and you're living the spiritual path, then you're living in ignorance. There is no spiritual path. Could we get that straight? I know the whole world thinks there's a spiritual path, but it's not true. The only spiritual path is your entire life, from the moment you are born till the split second of your physical death. That is the only spiritual path. But lifting the game means becoming more intelligent. That's all. Now, if you want to suffer, like the people that we've quite rightly, the human condition is a suffering condition. So I'm not in any way criticising the people who have spoken here today about their pain from the death of loved ones or the parting of loved ones, the pain and the sorrow which lingers and goes on in the chest or the solar plexus. But we've been programmed to worship suffering. As one person said, to hang on to the pain or to be with the pain. Well, it makes much more sense, does it not? Which is logic. What is the cause of the pain? Doesn't that make much more sense than hanging on to this pain or trying to see through this pain? To be intelligent is to say, well, what's the cause of the pain? And in the case of where most people suffer is in the emotional pain we're talking about, not physical pain at this stage. In emotional pain, in most people, is caused by the death of a loved one or the parting of a loved one, someone leaving someone who we love. Now the question is, why do I suffer when somebody that I love, that's close to me, my mother or my child, why do I suffer and continuing suffering emotionally, emotional pain? Why do I do that? That would be the intelligent question, wouldn't it? But the problem is that we're surrounded by unintelligent people who are sympathetic and sentimental. And save me from the sympathetic and sentimental people, please, God. And God does. Because all they do is perpetuate the pain. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, we're so sorry. Oh, here's a card arrived in the mail, condolences and all this rubbish, which helps to pat down the little ignorance that is in my breast because I was attached to the one that died. What I don't realize is that it is possible to love without becoming attached. But the example and lessons of my grandparents, my mother and father, and all the rest of them shows me that the right thing to do is to love and become attached and to expect everyone to stay with you forever, which is the human condition. And that, of course, is absolutely, ridiculously, absurdly unintelligent. Because life teaches us differently. And if you haven't seen the fact of life, that this is the fact of life, if you haven't seen that, then you have to go on suffering. It's as simple as that. You don't need Jesus on the cross, which is a disgraceful thing to start with. For anyone to put up a cross with a suffering figure on there, pinned there, a dreadful, disgraceful thing to do. Absolutely. No wonder you're all in a mess when you are. And no wonder you're all in a great and wonderful place when you are, because God is in charge, life is in charge, and you can't stop life from arising. But you can stop pain and suffering, emotional suffering from arising. Because the fact is that you made it. Any emotional pain that you have from any loss, you made that attachment because you didn't face the fact of life. That if you become attached to anybody in this existence, even if it's your pet rabbit or your pet dog, you are going to suffer, because the pet rabbit or the pet dog is going to die or leave you, and you will suffer, and there'll always be the sympathetic and sentimental people coming around to pat you down and say how sorry we are, and you'll feel better because somebody's sympathizing with you, instead of standing straight and saying, don't. This has to happen to every one of us, including you. Let us find out the reason why. And not like the teaching of Buddhism, to try to find enlightenment to get rid of it, which is a lot of old rubbish. The thing is to find out, what is the cause of my pain and suffering? The Buddha's great truth was the Four Noble Truths, which to me are a big yawn. Suffering is inherent in existence. Well, call that a noble truth? That's a fact. And a fact is not the truth, because nobody uses the right words anymore. So the human condition consists of emotional suffering. Why am I suffering? Because my loved one has died or left me. Obviously, I became attached. And in true love, if you would only come to the Master early, or listen to the Master, or your mother and father had come to the Master, and you'd all been able to listen, you would have heard that it is possible to love without attachment. And you would be shown how to do that. But the trouble is, what chance have I got against all your beliefs? Yeah, you believe you've got a brain, you believe you believe that the sun is 93 million miles away or whatever it is. You believe that. You believe science, that there's strings theory or there's some other theory. You believe all that nonsense. Not that you really believe it, but you think that they know something, and all they know is ignorance. Because what's the sun being 93 million miles away got to do with my love life? With my child who's in a mess? With my mother who's dying? What's that got to do with her? Nothing, absolutely nothing, except when you're entertained by your own rational, stupid, silly mind. Like the scientists are, who are not devoted to endeavouring to heal the physical body. I'm not talking about the emotional body, I'm talking the physical body. And I don't mean chemotherapy or radiation. I mean endeavouring to heal it, to save it from suffering. That's a good scientific inquiry, of course. It's logical to endeavour to stop physical pain in bodies. That's all we can do. Emotional pain we make ourselves. And then we believe in all this religious crap. And because we're born in a Western culture which is Christian, we're indoctrinated with the Christian rubbish. We're indoctrinated with it. We can't help it. From the very start, when you were children, you were indoctrinated with it. Even if you've discarded it now, you're still indoctrinated. It's down there in the subconscious. And it's rubbish. The only thing is, why am I suffering any emotional pain? Is that too logical for you? Is it too logical to say, I do not enjoy pain, whether it's physical or emotional? Physical, perhaps something can be done about ameliorating that. Perhaps something. But emotional pain, what can I do about that? Surely, isn't it logical to say, why am I suffering? And the answer is because you have become attached to what you want. Whether it's your work, if you're attached to work, if you're attached to money, if you're attached to anything, you will suffer. But is this the truth? Is it too straightforward for you? Because that's the way I speak, straightforward, right down to earth, into the human condition, which is you and me, which I have passed through in this body. Is it the truth? Now this is where self-knowledge comes in. You can only change your life according to your self-knowledge, which is beyond your control. The self-knowledge is your own experience that's in the unconscious, which is not accessible to you, although it will, your self-knowledge in the unconscious will rise up through the subconscious into your brain and will give you the knowledge that is necessary in any moment. But if that self-knowledge is overpowered by your experience, for instance, you know how to drive a car, that's your experience. You know how to fly an aeroplane, that's your experience. You've been to Sydney, that's your experience. You've driven up from Sydney, that's your experience. You've been to your mother and father, and you've listened at Christmas, and you've seen the ignorance expressed at Christmas, and yet you still go down there every Christmas to see them. And the utter ignorance expressed by them, and nothing important ever talked about by you or them. This causes pain. This causes an accumulation of belief and emotional suffering. And so when your own experience rises, it gets immediately overwhelmed by this terrible activity that goes on in your mind and emotions because of your experience, which is all in your memory. Your own experience is to do with truth, the hearing of the truth. Your experience is a good story. When I was in Paris, or this happened, or when we went to the nightclub, that happened, or we saw Russell Crowe or some other film star. That's all experience. That's a good story. Nothing to do with my own experience in that body. Are you getting this? Are you hearing it? This is the first time it's ever been said. Don't worry. You're my portholes. You're my portholes to the subconscious of the human race, you people who come to me. You're the way I access the subconscious of the human condition through your listening. And if you have enough self-knowledge to just hear the truth that I'm speaking, you don't judge it, you don't do anything with it, you don't interpret it, you just listen and hear it and say, without any saying, that's true. That's your self-knowledge. Because if I tell you I've been to Paris and up to a Paris nightclub, and you'll say as fast as possible, oh yeah, I went there or I went there. And so you tell me your experience, and this is what goes on between families. Did you have a good time? Have you been to the holidays? What did you get for Christmas? Oh, it's bullshit. I mean, you want to wonder where the agitation comes from, the energetic disturbance comes from when you try to be still. It comes from all that. You're putting second thing first. But then, you have to do what you do. But the question is, do you have to do it now? Do you have to do it again? Or have you had enough of it? Have you seen through it by seeing the truth in your own experience? Have you seen through it? Then you can change your life. But not before. All the experiences in the world, all the diets in the world won't save you. Any experience, all the therapies won't save you. All the doctors won't save you. It doesn't matter. What will save you only is being true to your own experience. And that is what's right. People so often write to me, how do I know what's right? Well, how can I say all this? You have to respond to every situation from your own experience, not from your experience. Because if you respond in your love life from your experience, you'll go into expectations of how the other should perform. You'll go into what you expected the other to look like, to respond like, and all the rest of it due to your experience. You'll say, oh, I don't like that anymore, so I don't want that anymore. Not the way to do it. You have to know in your own experience. What is the problem in your love life? God, haven't you suffered enough in your love life? You're going to tell me you don't know what the problem is yet? Have you got to go out there and meet another man, talking to the ladies that spoke to me this morning, or anyone in the same boat? Have you got to go out there and find another man and suffer again? Because that's what's going to happen. It's just predictable. Every little child being born today is going to happen to them. All the little girls, the lovely, sweet little bodies, are going to have to go through all the broken hearts and problems. Because nobody's speaking the truth to the parents. And then the parents can't change anything, because in the human psyche is this terrible belief in Christianity, in Buddhism, in the Upanishads, in all the rest of that past stuff, instead of being now. So how can you possibly be now if you've still got the movement in the subconscious? And the subconscious is as deep as a mile deep, let's say. It's a mile deep. And the self-consciousness that we call consciousness is only about 3 inches deep. And so our consciousness, which is, we call it a consciousness, of course we're not conscious at all, our mind and emotions are dictated to all the time by what's in our subconscious. All the fears, the doubts, the beliefs, the belief that Jesus died for us. What disgraceful stuff to tell my children. Jesus died for us. And how did he die? How did he die, Dad? Well, he died on the cross. On the cross? What do you mean on the cross? They put nails through his hands and through his legs, and then they ripped open his side. And the kid's horrified. He's horrified because there's an innocent thing there. There was like a bit of blotting paper. Bit of blotting paper, waiting to hear the good, someone speak the truth. And all I get is this rubbish about how suffering is good. And being reminded by it, by all the churches, got the cross of suffering on all the churches. The cross of suffering, not the wonder of life. The wonder of life now, none of that. Just a terrible cross of suffering. disgraceful. How can I possibly inform you against the force of that is gathered in this human psyche over generations and generations, and I am fresh and new every moment. So it depends on your own experience, whether you have the power to change your living life and your attachment to what you are attached to. Remembering that love is pure, but it is attachment that sullies love, that spoils it, ruins the situations. But love is always pure. So have you got it now? Have you got what your experience is? Your experience is where you work, your memory of where you work, your memory of your mum and dad, your memory of when you were born or when you were abused as a kid or something else, and all that stuff. That's your memory and that's your experience, which is recorded more or less in your memory and emotions. But your own experience is the reality in that body that you have no access to. It just gathers there according to your ability or according to your living life of being logical, of facing the fact. That's how you make your own experience this wonderful reality inside of you. But while you're a robot, repeating the same old human suffering that everybody has done for generations, they're all robots. It's not that the reality in them is robotic, but the reality hasn't got a chance against the robotic following. All following teachers, following spiritual masters, following religions, all followers. Follow a belief in science, followers a belief in this thing. Why would you want to be a follower? Followers are always behind, aren't they? So if you're in a religion, if you're a Buddhist, you're behind. You'll never catch up, no matter how much you think you do psychically, because we're not talking about psychic stuff here. We're talking about the logic of being real, being life. That's what we're talking about here. Or endeavouring to. That's why you're with the speaker. It is more important that you are with that which is here than even the words that are uttered. Because there is a reflection going on that the mind and emotions have no knowledge of whatever, which is a reflection that comes from in the unconscious, the place of truth and reality. There's a reflection going on there. Whereas the words come from experience and endeavour to come down from the top, from the human condition, through the listening ears, through all the conditioning and interpretations that may be in your body, down into the subconscious. Whereas the unconscious rises up and purifies the subconscious without any conscious effort or anything. The important thing is that you are here. God, or the unconscious, does the rest. But if you can listen, I'm able to speak through the human condition and therefore help the human condition, wherever it might be. It doesn't matter whether it's in Africa or America. As far as I'm concerned, somehow, by speaking to the human condition from my realized consciousness, through you people who are listening, I reach everywhere where it can be reached. But then the world is in such turmoil of belief. Belief in the Afghani, whatever it is, thing, belief in the American thing, belief in the Israeli thing, belief in the Palestinian thing, and all the activity that goes on, the killing and the suffering, and all the pain to the women who are left behind, and the soldiers have to go off to war to fight this sexual war between the believers, the women who are left behind, the children who are left behind, not making love, not getting any love, but anxiously listening to the broadcast or waiting for the telegram. They suffer unnecessarily, but because we have built this world as it is with our experience instead of our own experience, then it brings suffering and pain upon us all that can be reached, that are attached to the world. So is there something you can do? Where are you attached? Where do you suffer, in other words? Then that's where you are attached. Remembering, though, that there is this thing called consequences. I know it's a game, but it's not this game that we're playing here. This is a very serious game. You have to live with the consequences of your previous actions. And so attachment is living with the consequences of your previous actions in regard to man or woman, in not seeing through what man and woman are. You've had enough experience, haven't you, in your love life? You women, I'll speak to you women, right, first. There's no one here that can tell me you haven't had a good deal of experience with man. Now, have you learnt anything from it? Anything real from it? Or if you're young and still nubile, are you going to repeat the same errors? Or are you going to hear the Master speaking to you today? You're going to hear the God speaking through this dummy that's here, speaking to you, endeavoring to help you. Don't you know him? Don't you know him yet, that he's after your sex? He's after sex with you first? Don't you know that? Don't you know that he has all good intentions? He has all good intentions, but he's ruled by his sexual drive. And you think he's so lovely because he's a sweet talker when he wants something. He's not such a sweet talker when he can't get it. Until he wakes up to himself, until he knows himself sufficiently. And you've got to make sure that he knows himself, because you should know him by now, woman. And no good crying little girl lost to me, because this is the consequences of your ignorance in choosing the wrong man or not knowing what man is, despite your suffering. Incredible. But am I being too harsh? Every woman here has suffered at the hands of man. I'm not talking about physical abuse, or that occurs too, due to sex and booze, booze being a part of sex. I'm talking about through lack of love, enough love. You see, we can all say, oh, I love you, which all the lovers do when they're leaving you. They say, but I still love you. Can't we be friends or something? You know, I still love you. But the question is, do you love me enough? And the answer is, no, you don't love me enough. Did any woman ever say that? And really mean it? I mean, coming from your own knowledge, your own experience. Or do you think he's going to change? He's never, ever, ever going to change unless you come from your own experience with the strength of that. But while you pussyfoot around him and try to please him and say it's all right and then make beautiful love, then make beautiful love after a violent argument, and then an argument comes again later, all that rubbish, you never learn. But there is a noble man in him, if he's worthwhile. If he's got sufficient self-knowledge, there's a noble man in him. It's just that perhaps nobody has ever spoken the truth to him, including his mother and father and all his teachers and all the grandparents. And once he hears it, especially from a woman who is in her own experience and not trying to change him, but just knows what she will not have from him. The lady in the black, am I boring you? What are you looking over there for? Do you mind? I'm not going to attack you. What are you looking over there for? It means that you cut out. You understand me. Now, what have I said that makes you want to cut out? Yeah. What have I said? This, the lady here, please.
Maybe that the man can't change.
Have you been able to change him?
No.
You'll only change him when you are the custodian of true love, which woman is, and not the custodian of sentiment, and not the custodian of sympathy. And for him to tell his troubles to you and to give you his emotions so that you listen sympathetically and all that bullshit. He shouldn't have any emotions and he shouldn't have any troubles. If a man starts telling you his troubles, he's trouble. You hear me? Yes. Am I making it up? Am I? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you, miss. I'm not attacking you. I just want you to stay with me if you possibly can, because you're a porthole. And I want to help the human race, you see. I'm here to help the human race through people who can listen. Yeah, so, and there is a noble man in there, but he is never, ever going to be changed by your emotion, your lack of true love, and your need to be attached. Never, ever will you change him. He wants a real woman. That's what he wants. And when you give him a real woman, he loves you. He truly loves you if he's man enough. But give him women, you'll go through them, one after the other. But have I got to tell you this, or do you already know it? I suspect you already know it, but you haven't realized it yet. The sooner you realize it, the sooner closer you'll be to being a real woman. Any of you. So there's a noble man in there, a real man underneath the rubbish. All he needs is a right reflection from his woman. And that doesn't mean that she tells him to do anything. It doesn't mean that she discusses anything with him. It doesn't mean that she criticizes him. It means that she's just straight in here. And that does the job. And then, man, you have to know yourself, man. That's all. You have to learn how to love woman physically with your body and not with yourself or your mind and emotions. You can't love a woman with the mind that masturbates or the emotion that masturbates. You can't truly love a woman with fantasy, because fantasy will creep in. That's not to criticize man for his masturbatory habit. It's not to criticize him at all. But it is to say that masturbation, even though he might deny it, requires a certain fantasy, a certain love to a phantom part of woman. And then when he's loving a real woman, the body of a woman, he won't be able to resist fantasizing, and therefore his whole noble consciousness will not be there, and she will know it deep down in her own experience, and she then will get emotional, either at the moment or afterwards. That's how real it is, this consciousness, this love, this reality that I'm speaking of, which is in each one of us. That's how real it is. You can't get away with anything. But then there's unlimited time. All right then, so everybody seems to be awake. That's very, very, very good. I stay awake, of course, after meal because I'm talking all the time. You'd probably notice if I started to... and I might shut up and everyone would say, oh, thank goodness for that. But I'm all right, but I see everybody's pretty well here, which is very good on such a hot day too. But we do have a lovely meeting place, don't we? And this hot day, the cool. We're so blessed, aren't we? We've got comfortable chairs to sit in. But aren't we blessed? Eh? A lovely meeting place. Now, I just want to see if this is good. I want to see about the good that we have here. That we got an air conditioning here that keeps it cool for us, or if it gets too cool, it will be switched off. Isn't that good? That's very nice, and such a very hot day. And then we got this lovely room that I can speak to you very clearly from here through the address system, although if I didn't have the address system, I'd still speak to you with a great clarity in this place. And isn't it lovely when you went outside? The blue sky, of course it's very hot, around about 30, 31 I should think. But the beach up there, the very wide beach and the blue-green surf and water. Aren't we fortunate, eh? And aren't we fortunate that you have the time to sit here for a whole day? Isn't that a great gift that you have been given? And that your physical health is what it is, enabling you to come here. You might have your little physical problems, everybody has one, but isn't it good that you've still been able to come here? And that you can listen to Barry Long despite his reputation. Eh? You can really find out if it's true what they say about him in your own experience. Right? There's so much good here, isn't there? And the flowers. We've even got the flowers here next to us. Ah, yeah. So, what's not good that's here? Oh, what's not good that's here? I don't know of anything that's not good that's here. Do you? There might be some not good that's not here. But I don't know about those things. So the thing is to acknowledge the good. And if you're a woman and you see a man and you see he does something that's lovely or has got a nice smile on his face, you tell him it's a lovely smile you've got there. And if he's your partner, you acknowledge him every time he does something that's really lovely, or that in your own experience you know is a loving action in some way or other, even if it's only to the flowers that he waters. And you acknowledge that. Because acknowledgement is what we all love, and acknowledgement is good. But when we start acknowledging our own fears and doubts and problems, that's when we're acknowledging they're not good, and that will come up because you acknowledge it. It will come up and possess your mind and emotions. What you acknowledge, you get. So I only know the good. I don't know of any other in my life. Do you? If you know another, you made it. You made it yourself. Consequences of previous actions. And in this human condition, when we're born, we all have to pick up some of the consequences, the consequences of humanity's actions. We have to pick that up and carry it with us as our burden. But only so long as we are fooled by it, until such times as we have sufficient self-knowledge to say, I'm creating this, I will have no more of it. Because I don't want to suffer anymore. But if I can't do that, then I have to go on suffering until I've had enough suffering. When I've had enough, of course. Enough's enough, isn't it? But if I don't know I've had enough yet, and your love life is the main place where you suffer, despite what people think and say, that's where you suffer. In your love life. Have you had enough of suffering yet? If you have, then you'll be able to do something about it that is real. Remembering not to accuse or blame another, but to know yourself as the cause of this pain and suffering. So there's nothing in accusing another or blaming another. Nothing to be gained in that. You are responsible for your living life, as I am. And what you believe in will eventually cause you pain and suffering, discontent, disenchantment. But if you don't believe in anything and just see the fact, you will see the truth. Is it good now? The answer is yes. Isn't it? It's good now. And this now is not then. Is it good now? Let's ask the question again. Is it good now? But if you have a lingering want, a lingering wishing, a lingering hoping in the subconscious down there, your mind will have gone immediately onto a problem in your living life. Just like you hit a note and up it comes. And although you can say, oh yes, it's good now, it strikes a note somewhere else that you remember that in your living life something's not so good. That's how you tell. That's how you tell. Okay, now, as everybody has not fallen asleep, close the eyes, please. I was reluctant to do this when we came in after lunch, because people often nod off in front of me after lunch. So anyway, everything is right as it happens, so close the eyes. Now what we're endeavouring to do is just put the attention on anything that moves, you will notice that there is something moving there that cannot be stopped. And that is the natural physical sensation. And that sensation is all over the body if we can only be still enough to sense it. So if that's moving, you can focus on that, because that keeps the mind steady, focusing on the pure sensation of the body. But if any thought arises, that's not pure sensation, that's pure self-made. Comes from an emotion deep down in the subconscious. So when that comes and you can't stop thinking, open the eyes, look at the speaker, start again, close the eyes, keep the corners of the lips up a little, and enjoy being still. No images, no thought, no movement, nothing arising inside. Now if you do start to doze off, just open the eyes, look at the speaker, and then close the eyes and start again. Even if you're at home, do that, look at the wall or wherever you are, and start again. Don't try and stop the thinking. Start again. Now, without losing the stillness that you have inside, open the eyes and come into the world of differences, of multiple images. This is the world out here. Now, would anyone like to ask me a question about anything that I've mentioned so far during the day? Yes, there's a lady in white here. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. Your name, please?
Jeanette,
Jeanette. Yes, Jeanette.
you were talking about man loving woman,
Yes.
and I feel I have a man that loves me as woman, but I'm aware of a lot of past memories, emotion in me that I feel gets in the way of me really receiving.
And that is right,
loving.
because you are the intelligence of that woman, aren't you? So you are right, it does get in the way, yes. Go ahead.
So I just wonder what to do about that, or how I can
Right.
heal that.
Okay. Have you listened to my Making Love tapes?
Yes.
Yes. I think you should play them again. But the secret to loving man, because man has the power, if he's loving you, as you say he is he a good man, what you'd call a good man?
Yes.
If such a man is loving you, then his job, as you will hear from the Making Love tapes, his job in loving you is to take some of that past out of you through his penis. That's what loving's about, and also his body through his love of you. Eventually, he becomes his penis, the whole of his body becomes a purified penis. And if he hugs you or loves you and just lies with you without even making love with you, he is taking something out of you, because man's job is to absorb the past out of woman as much as it is possible, as much as she will give it to him or allows it from her subconscious, right? So you're very fortunate to have such a man who loves you enough. Does he?
Yes, he does.
All right. So what is the problem in your ordinary, everyday life? What's the difficulty that you have? I'm not talking about your love life, I'm talking about your ordinary, everyday life. Where's your discontent? Where's your frustration?
I think that I'm not really able to receive the love that's there because of my past.
Because of your past? Yes. But there's no past, there's only now. So I just ask you, whereabouts in your everyday, daily life do you have a problem? Not talking about what you just said, because that's not an answer to my question, is it?
Right now, I can't think of one.
You can't think of one. Well, hand it to your man for me. There is the microphone. Whereabouts in her daily life is she troubled? You'd know. You'd know. You don't even have to think about it. Is it in her work life, a mother and a father, a children? What is it, a past lover who's still around in her mind? Which is it?
Just being with herself.
Not good enough, not my answer. But fair enough, you know, you can refuse to answer if you can. I don't mean to embarrass you in any way. Because often our partner knows more about us than we know ourselves, because we can't see it ourselves, but our partner is there as a mirror to help us. So she has a problem somewhere in her daily life, which you don't know about, but I know is there, and she's not telling me. So what are we going to do about this? Someone's not owning up. But you don't have to believe me. It's just that I happen to know this. Well, you better hand it back to her if you can't help me. Has she got a lover? Another lover?
No.
Is the ex-lover still around? In physical form?
No.
Mm-hmm. So if you'd hand it back to her, please, the microphone. So have you thought of anywhere in your daily life that you think about something else?
I think about my work.
Why? Why do you think about your work?
I think because I'm not really able to trust myself as a woman.
And what sort of... It's all right, please. If you don't want to continue, you only have to tell me.
Okay.
And it's all right if you cry. It's okay. Why do you have to trust yourself as a woman to do your work? What sort of work is it, please?
I facilitate workshops which are to do with man and woman.
Yes, well, no doubt you'll draw to yourself some people who are curious and all the rest of it. But how you can ever teach anyone about love between man and woman when you haven't got it right yourself?
That's where I suffer, because
Pardon?
I feel that's what I don't really know in myself.
Well, you shouldn't be doing it, should you? Because it's not right for you, the way you are. That's all. Perhaps when you get yourself right, you'll be able to do it and really help people, but as it is now, it's coming out of you. Your very presence will contain this stuff. Doesn't matter how nice your words are. It's like those American women who come out of here. They all had tumours the size of footballs and all the rest of them, and they cure themselves, and you can always tell they're bullshitting because they've got lovely blonde hair and a strained back and they're looking so healthy and beautiful. And they tell you all you've got to do is do this, and yet if you go to them, it still doesn't cure you. In other words, people can say things and act things, but it doesn't fill the truth. And so I say it's not right for you in your own words because you're troubled by it. Now, while you're doing something like that which is so precious, and you are not being true to it in your own life, you would be disturbed. That's the law. We're talking about the law, not man's law. We're talking about the law. For if I didn't live everything that I speak to the people, to all you people here, if I hadn't lived it and don't live it every moment, then I'd be struck dead or paralyzed immediately, because you can't do that. You can't speak to your fellow man and woman of the truth if you don't live it yourself. But at the same time, you would be passing something on to people at their level of unconsciousness or developing own experience. I think you ought to do something about it so that you can change. And I sense that you can change and get your life right so that you could teach the people and raise your game so that you can really communicate and not have any problem, but just be what you're teaching. Otherwise, you will be disturbed. So what would you like to say now? Have you seen anything?
I've just seen how much I carry the past and how that gets in the way, and how it's only now that I can realize who I am.
Well, I don't know whether you'll ever realize who I am, because you're nothing.
Who I'm not, whatever.
Yeah, you can realize who you're not, but you can't realize who I am. That's the trick of it, you see, because you're nothing, because intelligence is nothing to speak of. Right. So what you've got to do is see what you're not, and what you're teaching is what you're not, because you're not true in your own life. Now, it's very wonderful for me to speak to you who may be able to help people. So I want to help you. So I don't know how you're going to do this, but you get that right and it'll be better with your man. You might have to give it up for a while. And then you can say, oh, what will I do? Don't worry, God will look after you for the right reason, some way or other. You might have to dry out for a while and not open your mouth about truth and between man and woman until you're living it. You might have to, it's up to you. It's not up to me. I'm just suggesting. I'm not trying to persuade you. Okay?
Thank you.
We leave it at that? You see, there's always a reason. And if you won't let your past lovers go, or if you are concerned about all the men that have fucked you, all the men that you've been with, all that, it doesn't matter that much. As long as you're not attached to it, let it go. Let it all go. And I'm not speaking to you when I speak like that. I'm speaking to everybody, because I don't know anything about you. But women do tend to hang on to that, and then they get guilt. There is nothing worse than guilt. A guilt is an arrogance and a dishonesty, because you shouldn't have guilt. Everybody's guilty. You haven't done anything that most of the women on earth have done. So what are you guilty about? Make yourself special with guilt. Forget it. Just don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't be silly again. But if you want to, do it again and suffer some more. Oh, yeah. It's so, you just got to do it. You're in charge. Okay, thank you. Someone else have a question, please? Surely we've covered some areas. Yes, here's a lady, please. Thank you. Thank you for putting your hand up. That's very helpful. Your name?
Britta.
Britta. Yes, Britta.
Yeah. So you just spoke about being a custodian for the love.
Yes.
And I'm like, in my relationship, there's a lot of friction and fighting. And so I'm wondering, how can I be, and I get very defensive and emotional, and I'm just wondering, how can I be a custodian?
Well, if you're going to be a real woman, you'll have to be. And every woman wants to be a real woman, right? And that's no judgment on you at all, because I don't judge people. I just say it as it is. And there is a real woman in every woman. And it's down there, it's down there. And we got all this stuff that I've been speaking about on top of us, as well as guilt, self-judgment, especially with woman, self-judgment, not good enough, man dragging her down, undermining her, which he always does, until he doesn't. That stuff really hurts and she gets emotional. Now, what can you do? How's your life?
That's very nice.
Well, mate, are you able to breathe all right?
Am I able to breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Your lungs are okay?
Actually, no.
What's wrong with them?
I have kind of chronic bronchitis.
I'm sorry?
I have kind of chronic bronchitis.
Chronic bronchitis. Well, you're still able to breathe, though. Even though you've got chronic, you haven't got, what's the word, acute?
No.
No, right, you've got chronic. Well, that's good, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you've got to look at that, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's got something. Look, people walk around and we think how healthy they are. Even the iron men and women swimming out there under, they got something. They got an ingrown toenail or something that gives them health. You can't be in this existence unless you got something wrong somewhere. Now, the thing in your life to do is you must, all of you, acknowledge the good. If I have anything to impart to you that is real, you must acknowledge the good in your life. The more you acknowledge the good in your life, the more things improve. Even your bronchitis will start to improve in some way or other once you start acknowledging the good in your life. And this is what I'm going to say now is not a criticism of anyone who's with you. Are you with your man?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Woman gets emotional when she is not loved enough. Woman gets emotional when she thinks of past lovers and is still attached to them, right? So the present man could be loving her enough, but her insistence on going into her emotional memory as some sort of daydream or fantasy thing at different times of the day, acknowledging that, is going to make her emotional about this man and probably put old men on this man, which she can do. I'm not saying that's what you do, but it often happens in woman that she puts old men that she's had and the disappointments and disenchantment with them and disillusionment with them on this man who's loving her enough. You must be very careful of that, woman, or you must see it. You must see it for yourself, because only consciousness wins this game. I'm not saying that's happening. But
I don't feel like that's... We've been together for so long that I can't remember my old lover.
Well, now, have you been together too long? Now, that's not okay. I got to say it. Because if you haven't got the vibrance and life in your relationship, it's possible that you've been together too long, that you're frightened to part, that that you enjoy the sex every now and again, but you don't enjoy it that much or something. It's a bit of a thing. But at any rate, you just get used to each other. You get habitual and you sink down into the subconscious of fear, to give up, to break up. Now, it's even better sometimes to go apart for some weeks so that you discover what you love, so that he discovers what he loves, if it gets robotic. Because in the moment of parting, we discover what we love, I tell you that. But when we're together, we assume we're creatures of habit. We can't help it, because we're creatures of the past, and the past is a habit, and the past repeats itself and all that. We're creatures like that. But there is inside of us a reality that is not of the past. And once the vitality starts to go out of the love life, together, it's going beep, 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 beep. Something's wrong here. It doesn't mean that you don't love one another, but it does mean you've got into a habit. So I have to leave that with you, and I'm not judging either of you, okay? Does your man want to speak to me? Sure. I only ask you because I've referred to you.
I guess what I would say is, I came to see you a couple of years ago, and when I was in Australia last time.
Where are you from?
Well, we live near San Francisco, in California.
Oh, yeah.
And the question you asked me is a common question. You said, do you love, she wasn't here at the time, but you said, do you love your woman enough? And sometimes I just get real, like, numb, like, just kind of very blasé about it sometimes. It's like, she wants me, she wants my love, she wants my attention. And I'm just numb. You know, and I
understand. You're not the only man on earth with that, you know, I'll tell you that. There's quite a club.
I know, but it creates a lot of problems.
It does indeed, because the love between you is not vital, and that will make the woman start demanding from you, and as soon as she starts demanding from you, you will go cold or numb. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. You can't demand love, but you can say, I'm going to leave you if you don't come to your senses. That's what a woman can say to him. And what do you mean, come to my senses? You mean start loving me, and giving me attention that you used to give me when we first came together. I'm not demanding it, but if you don't do that, I'll leave you. Now that's not a demand, as long as you mean it. I mean, you've got to be prepared to walk out. If he says, we'll go to Buggery, then you say, I'm off to Buggery, bye-bye. You've got to do that. Then he discovers he's not numb at all. So I think it's time for you to have a change, and I'm not suggesting that you break up. I'm suggesting that you should go apart for a few weeks. I'm only suggesting it, right? Because the life has gone out of it, and you're demanding love, and he doesn't want the demand, and because he becomes more structured, you want more, you can't understand what's going on, and you start to get emotional, and he gets further away. And you know, it's the old story. You've got to discover, do you want to be together? And if you get apart for a few weeks, and I mean apart, none of this phoning each other every night, none of that stuff. That's feeding it. You got to break it. But on the understanding that you're going apart for a few weeks or something, okay? Because you never know what life does when you do that, do you? It's a very dangerous thing. But if you do that, and I'm not suggesting that you break up unless you do break up. Try that. It's got two smooths on the cliff face there, between the two of you. And then, if he comes back to you and says, I love you, I don't want to ever be apart from you, you have to say, right, I never want to demand love from you again, and I won't. And we have to relate to each other from a place of love that we enjoy being together, that we enjoy loving together and being together. We enjoy having breakfast together. We enjoy waking up in the morning and cuddling and saying, I'm so pleased you're here. It's lovely. And having a kiss and a cuddle before we get up. And in the day, cuddling and kissing and showing the joy that we enjoy being together. When you live like that, the vital love, the vital life stays in the relationship. Well, you can hear that, can't you? Well, that's how it was in the beginning, wasn't it? But we let the old human condition start to seep into us, and while we live together, we grow further and further apart, really. The woman gets emotion, starts demanding. The man pulls away because he doesn't want a woman's emotions and demands, and it's no good. It's just no good. It's okay, leave it at that. Thank you. Someone else have a question? Oh, yes, there's a lady behind you, please. I know this lady, I think, isn't? What's your name?
Kala Kelly. Kala Kelly.
Kala Kay.
Kala Kelly. I asked a question this morning.
Oh, you were sitting over there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I'm not in a relationship right now, but often when I start in a relationship with a man, I'm in the opposite situation as this, where I'm the one pulling away. And it's happened recently where I feel demanded of, and I feel like he's more emotional than me. And I don't know.
Well, is he?
Yeah.
So why are you with him in the first place?
Well, now I'm not, but it's
No,
a
but
pattern.
why were you with him in the first place? Because you don't know what it is to be a woman. Mm-hmm. A woman looks at the man, says, I'm available for love, but I'm not available for sex, and I'm certainly not ready to be bedded until you show me that you love me, love being with me, enjoy being with me, even if you don't love me yet, that you enjoy being with me. Now that might take 3 months. Oh God, 3 months. Yeah. Because the way it is, into bed is into trouble. You should know that. Because what you withdraw from is you get sex without love, or without enough love, don't you? Mm-hmm. What am I to say? You are the subject matter. You're the one here. You're the only eye in the universe. You're the one. So if you're going to hop into bed and let man use you sexually, you're, for one, is going to pull away from it, because a woman is always looking for love. And what she gets most of the time is sex, with very little love. She pulls away. The man then pulls back because he's not interested after he's had his sex. Or he gets a bit more, and then he loses interest. I mean, it's the old story, isn't it? Nobody's ever thought of a change. Nobody's ever thought of changing it. Except by making decisions instead of doing what you know getting rid of what you know makes you unhappy. So I can't keep going into this love thing all day. I mean, it's really, really. I got books on it. I talk about it. I've been talking for 40 years about it. And I'm still getting the same questions. Woman has to be the custodian of love. That means she's the custodian of truth. Love is truth in this place where they are not two things. At present, in the human condition, there's love and there's truth, and they're like that, well apart. Love and truth are both the same aspect of God, of truth or love. And woman has to be responsible for it in the condition of the world as it is today. Because man is sex-driven, you've heard me say it before, until he discovers inside of him the noble man, he is driven by sex and fantasy. That's the end of it. And woman expects to change him by being sympathetic and loving him and thinking she'll change him. It's like trying to change an alcoholic. You got no chance. Like trying to change someone who takes drugs. No chance. I mean, one in 10,000, yeah. You got to always have the possibility, haven't you? But I wouldn't bet your life on it, which all the women do. Okay, one more question, please. Before we have a nice cup of tea, yes, hand it to the lady, and then, God willing, we'll have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever you like. But at this stage, we're going to hear something. What are we going to hear?
I'm asking another love question about
A love
marriage.
question. About
what
what?
you think about marriage?
What do I think about marriage?
Yeah. Do you recommend it or not?
Do I recommend it? Now, look, wait a minute. A guy sends me 3 emails. He says, "Have you received my first email? It's about fatherhood, whether I should be a father or not." He sends another email, "Did you get my email about being a father?" And the third one, "What's happened? Did you get it?" Well, first of all, I'm not a father consultant. I'm not a marriage consultant, right? You have to take responsibility for your own life. And I don't reply to emails unless I know the person very, very well. Because emails, we'll just get on the thing and we'll type one out and bang it off. Sit down and write me one laboriously, and I'll know that your heart's in it. Yeah, emails, not for me, thanks. Any rate, I'm old-fashioned, aren't I? I want you to take some trouble to write to me. How would you be if your lover keeps sending you emails? I wouldn't believe him. I'd say, you write to me. Yeah, you write to me. They used to write to you every day. Now they can email you every couple of minutes, I suppose. Now, what's the question? Marriage?
Yes.
Well, I can only tell you what my dear old mum used to say. And my old mum lived till she was 88, 89, 90. And she was a woman of the world, like you all are. And she said, "Barry, when the ring goes on the finger, the sex goes out the window." Well, I'll leave it with you. Now it's time for afternoon tea.